I was going to watch this Charlie video. This is the Discord video of the age verification.
Discord's come a long way since its humble beginnings as a Reddit tier, memer, fedora-tipping narwhal baconing at midnight service, where every time you fired it up, it'd toss incredibly timeless classics at you, like constructing additional pylons and overloading on memes, watch out for Wumpus, and anytime you contacted their support, you were put in touch with Springle, the mystical gnome fairy elf wizard lord.
I didn't even know what Wumpus was. Like, I've used Discord for like 10 years. I had no idea about any of this.
To do nothing to help you with whatever problem you had. Discord has grown a lot since those days.
Yeah.
It has been a staple in society for the last couple of years. Discord. And just a few hours ago, they put out an announcement about some big upcoming changes to Discord that they may as well have just announced they're shutting down. Like, that would have been more positively received than what we actually got here. This is despicable. Discord has announced...
I don't think that there's going to be a... Like, the difference is that, like, whenever Skype died because there was a better alternative. I think that Discord, I don't know a better alternative right now than Discord. But because Skype could die, I remember whenever Skype came out and it was the greatest program ever. So there is a world where Discord could end up dying. It's possible. TeamSpeak, I don't think people see that. And Slack, what is this here? Slack, but it sucks dick? Yeah, I don't think so.
That all accounts will be age-restricted by default unless you verify your age via face scan or ID.
Wow.
There's also a lot more terrible things here, but that's by far the biggest. Discord, by the way, is like the least trustworthy place to be giving your data to. Only a couple months ago, Discord...
Second least. Sony. But yeah.
Had a huge data breach where hackers got tons of data as well as 70,000 fucking government IDs. Giving Discord your biometric data and ID is like giving your paycheck to a polymarket gambling addict. It's just a terrible recipe for disaster.
No, I was going to win.
Standard play from John Madden's playbook here.
I voted Epstein was alive.
Where they're saying that this is actually in order to create a safer experience for teens that use Discord. While obviously Discord has had a history of horrible things that have happened to children that have used their service, this in no way, shape, or form is the actual impetus for why they're implementing these changes to harvest your data.
It's hard to say whether they're harvesting data or not, but I will say that these changes will absolutely reduce the amount of, like, if you reduce the amount of kids that are on the platform, obviously you're going to have way less grooming. Like, yeah, duh, of course, right? But, like, do you want to have everybody on the internet give up their privacy because a few parents can't keep track of their kids? Like, I don't like that argument. I think that's not fair for everybody else, that everybody has to live with like all of this like tracking and, rules and everything because parents aren't taking care of their kids. I think that companies can do due diligence and they can take, best practices to try to prevent it from happening. But like, you can't really make this stuff stop happening unless the parents make the decision themselves. I'm not saying the companies have no responsibility, but I'm saying it's like an 80 or 90, like 80 or 90% fucking parents and 10 to 20% from the organization.
Also have a mention in that tweet there that they're starting a council for U.S. teens aged 13 to 17 to apply to be a part of this.
Seems stupid.
Board.
It's retarded.
That's supposed to better help steer Discord in a direction that's safer for children. What do you like? How does a kid submit a resume? What's your work experience? We need at least 7 years of Nickelodeon internships or something in order to accept you on the Discord.
Do you play Roblox? Oh, you do. Okay, so you understand groomers. Yep, come on. Yep, you're on.
Children's board here. It's a very weird proposal. Now going to their announcement here, when would users need to verify their age group? Users are only prompted to verify their age group when they attempt to access certain age-restricted content, settings, or features. After completing age assurance, users won't be asked to verify again for future age-restricted actions. A user may be prompted to verify their age group if they attempt to unblur media flagged by our sensitive content filters or attempt to change any of the default sensitivity content filter settings to show sensitive content, turn off message requests, access age-restricted channels and servers, speaking a stage channel, and toggle on age-restricted command settings.
Yep.
Then in bold at the very bottom, importantly, this does not mean everyone will need to confirm their age just to use Discord.
Yes.
Not yet, at least. I'm sure
That's coming, and it's coming for the entire internet. The entire internet will have Real ID in probably 10 years. I would say 15 to 20 for sure. It could be 10.
right around the corner.
But
they knew
it's
that
happening.
they would catch a big load of fucking poop from this for all of their users because nobody wants to just be willy-nilly giving all of their
No, it won't. Okay. All right. This is my assumption. This is my guess, right?
Data, their fucking face scan, ID, and everything to Discord of all companies. A company that literally just had a massive data breach, by the way.
Ooh.
Many people can
exciting.
use Discord exactly as they do today without ever being asked to confirm their age. Now, here's the default safety settings that if you attempt to alter, you will then most likely be prompted to fork over your data, whether that's an ID or a face scan. So they're calling it teen by default because these settings establish a clear safety baseline designed with teens in mind, with flexibility for adults to customize their experience.
Sure.
Adults can always choose to verify their age
sense.
and change them or leave this setting as is. Unless a user is confirmed to be an adult, these safety settings stay in place and can't be changed. So they're immutable unless you are giving, of course,
well, you get treated like a kid until you put your ID in. It's pretty fucking simple.
Precious data, which is a currency more valuable than money, which is why every company is scrambling to do everything they can to try and roll out some changes that require you to give them your data.
Well, the other thing, too, is that these companies are scrambling because they don't want to be held accountable by countries for not doing due diligence at protecting kids that are on their platform. You have to keep in mind that they're also in the crosshairs of the government. And if the government thinks that, these people are, not doing enough, they could get fined, somebody could go to jail or something like that. That's one of the reasons why these companies are doing this and they're being proactive about it, is because they're afraid of having something happen.
They can sell it to other entities. At this point, it's most likely going to AI-based companies, but it goes all over the place.
Everything is going to be done by an algorithmic AI machine learning tool. It's not like people are going to be making this decision. It's going to be totally done machine learning and AI influenced, right? 100%. It
always has. So then it goes into layout the default settings, such as the content filters, age-gated spaces, message requests, friend request alerts, and stage restrictions. So the wacky new philosophy over there at Discord is everyone's a child unless proven otherwise.
That's right, because they're afraid.
Children by default.
Yes.
It's a pretty interesting strategy. I don't know if this is what Wumpus has been cooking ever since they banished him to the back rooms or what, but fascinating idea.
It's the problem, and the reason why this is happening is because there is a growing demand from the public for the companies on the internet to have higher degrees of accountability and for the internet to be a safer space for young people. I think that this really started to happen in 2015, and it happened more severely in COVID, because now that everybody is involved on the internet, you're going to need to see, some degree of accountability, right? This isn't 2007 anymore when, anybody can do anything on the internet and it's like a totally different universe, right? Now the internet and real life are intermingled, pretty much completely. So the problem is that whenever you have that happen, you need to have some degree of accountability one way or another. Now, I think this mainly should come from parents, but I don't think that there's a way that you can explain to people that it's an okay or a good thing that children are able to make accounts and message adults on websites like this. Because in a real life situation, I think that everybody would say that's obviously a bad thing, especially whenever there's no vetting process of the adults they're messaging. So the problem, I think, is that, if you look at normie common sense logic, I think normie common sense logic is going to lead to the conclusion of everybody needing to have ID in order to use certain different social media websites. I think that's where we're going. And and this is, I don't necessarily think this is a good thing, right? But I do think this is where we're going. And I think also there will be more elements of this that will be like, for example, like in Britain and other places, like any country with more speech laws will also be using this as a tool to proactively censor speech as well. So it's not just for the kids. And I think actually the kids are like a side effect that's like a good PR. It's a good PR spin, but the real focus is about, potentially data collection. Maybe it's Discord data collection, maybe it's another company. But then on top of that, surveillance and, basically, avoiding legal liability. When you said it's inevitable, I did. I said it was inevitable. People were mad. And now it's happening here in the United States right now.
Brace yourself, because maybe this is a controversial take. This perhaps could be spicy. Yes. Do you know how you really protect children on Discord?
The parents don't let them get it.
You don't let children on Discord.
That's right.
This is going to tie into something I was just yapping about a couple days ago, and it's something I've said.
But and here's the logic that will, this is the problem. If a kid goes to a strip club, he gets turned away at the door because he's a kid and he doesn't have his ID. If a kid goes to buy alcohol, he doesn't get outsold the alcohol because he doesn't have his ID. I don't think that you can beat that reasoning in the mind of a normie. I don't think you can do it. The nuance of the internet, I don't think is understandable enough for a normal person to be able to hear that and be like, oh, okay, I understand the difference between this. You see what I'm saying?
Numerous times over the years, but we are in an era where parents do not want to be parents. They would much rather just plop their kids in front of an iPad or a computer and let the internet raise their kids for them.
I don't think it's that simple. I think the fact is that, probably all of us here, who here was looking at porn on the computer or on your phone whenever you were a kid? I was 100%. I think that everybody was. So the truth is that, and were all of our parents bad always? I don't think so. Because it's like 99% of people were doing this. So are 99% of parents bad? Well, if 99% of parents are bad, then we should plan for parents to be bad rather than imagining a fantasy world that doesn't and will never exist. Realistically, right? You look at this pragmatically. Both of these two things can't exist.
And just let them have completely unmonitored, unfiltered, unlimited access to the cyberspace, the World Wide Web.
That's what we have.
As such, the entire landscape of the internet has shifted to constantly be catering towards children using it, which is extraordinarily different from how it was when I was growing up, where the internet was made for adults and kids had certain special pockets online.
Yeah, like Neopets.
But by and large, the internet was focused on adults using it. Yeah. Whereas now it's just been normalized for parents to turn their kids loose online and let them run wild. So as a result, everything on the internet has changed in order to compensate for that.
Yeah, I think it's also the barrier to entry has become a lot lower. Whenever he and I probably got on the internet, it was probably the mid-2000s, right? Maybe early 2000s, late 2000s, a lot of that. The barrier to entry into the internet was higher then than it is now. I remember back in the day, there were plenty of people who didn't have internet. This was 2003, 2004. A lot of people didn't have it. So now I think that it's just so easy to access. Of course they're all going to have it.
And make no mistake, Discord making this change, its primary goal isn't to protect kids using their service.
It's to protect Discord. It's to protect Discord from legal liability.
It's to harvest your data because
I'm not even convinced that it's harvesting data, but I am convinced that it's protecting them from liability.
Going to be very, very valuable for
I'm not
Discord.
saying he's wrong. I'm just
not
sure.
And getting everyone more and more comfortable with mass surveillance and no privacy turning over your information and data is something that tons of companies are doing everything in their power to do.
It's becoming totally normalized.
Just found a convenient...
I think South Korea is where we're going.
Excuse to try and paint it as something good, like protecting kids from bad people on Discord.
Well, and the problem is that they're right. If you require people to have an ID in order to have different interactions on Discord and to go to certain servers that are in SFW, and for example, if you required people to have an ID in order to send and receive peer-to-peer messages on Discord, you would cut down on the amount of grooming by like 99%. You would. This would almost totally eliminate the problem. And I think that it's, even though this isn't something that's like in favor of my argument, this is a fact. It's true. Like, there are hacks. Yeah. How many fucking 12-year-olds are hacking Discord so they can talk to adults? Very few. Less than 1%. So it's important. I don't give a fuck about grooming. You can say you don't give a fuck about it. That's fine. But what I'm saying is that there is actual validity in what's being discussed. If you shut all of this down and you don't let people message each other, it becomes infinitely fucking harder to be able to go and groom somebody. It's true. Like, absolutely. But is it worth everybody else losing their privacy because some parents can't deal with their kids? In my opinion, I think no. No, I don't think so.
Now, something else in their announcement is this about a toolkit that's going to be introducing age inference to help determine with high confidence whether a user on the platform is an adult. So from the way they describe it, it seems like it's going to be this tool that's monitoring your activity to find patterns of your
I take on what excuse you said. I'll talk about that afterwards. Remind me at the end.
And make an estimation of your age based on what you engage in on Discord. Admittedly, I'm a bit confused on exactly what this is, but from the sound of things, it is something that's running in the background.
It's a multiple, like there's probably about probably hundreds of data points that they use, like analysis inferences. Like, for example, the way that a mouse moves, for example, the way that a person types, for example, the way that their messages are structured, the time of day that they're getting on the internet, the time of usage, the way that their spelling is. And they use every single one of these. It's machine learning. And then they create degrees of certainty where it's like, if you're spelling this many words wrong and you're playing Fortnite and you're using that's cap and you're also saying on God and your picture is Skibidi toilet, I think that you're 12. That's basically what it does. Sure. And you know what? It probably works. It does. Think about it. Like, stereotypes are based on reality. And if you overlay a bunch of stereotypes, you can create a predictive profile that is accurate a lot of the time.
That monitors user behavior. So if you're someone that's frequenting tax channels on Discord in order to help with your taxes, it would likely view that behavior as likely an adult using the account. So then it would just internally have you as an adult account, so you wouldn't need to complete an explicit age verification flow, like if I'm understanding this correctly. Again, I'm not entirely sure what...
Every website already has this, and so I'll give another frame of reference for how this works. So whenever a lot of these bot accounts... So every single website has a internal social credit score of every single account, and this is on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Reddit. I can give other examples, but let's just look at those four. Every single one of those accounts or those websites has an internal invisible rating system that detects whether an account is an AI account or not. And one of the ways that the AI accounts get around that detection so they can be seen as human accounts by the algorithm and have their interactions and their, information be treated the same is by basically wearing the skin of a human. So the way that they do that, have you ever seen on YouTube comment sections where there is one comment that gets a lot of likes and you see that the comment is made by a name with a bunch of numbers and letters, and the picture of that comment, the commenter is like a girl in like a bikini or something like that? That's a bot account. And the reason why is that those bot accounts are programmed to take messages that were really popular, that got a lot of human interactions, and then repost those messages with human interactions, because human human interactions lowers the probability score on this AI detection tool of an account being detected as AI because it's being interacted with by real humans, because there's probably like an internal telemetry system where if there are a bunch of other accounts that are 0% AI that are interacting with an account that might be AI, that further legitimizes that account. And think about this, right? This is common sense that you would do, right? Like if somebody gave you the responsibility, make a tool that detects this, that's what you would do, right? Obviously, that's what you do. It's common sense. So really, that's the reason why it happens that way. That's the entire reason why all of this goes down. And these tools happen for AI verification. They happen for spam. They happen for all kinds of things. Like CAPTCHA is another good example. So the reason why CAPTCHA works, and I'll show you this, is that, so basically it's like a picture of like 4 things, right? And it says, pick the one that is purple. Okay? Well, I'm a fucking retard. Give me a second. Pick the one that's purple. And I understand this is a rant. You're going to have to deal with it. The CAPTCHA is not checking necessarily that you clicked purple. But if you go like this, and then you, oops, just a second, and then you click, you just made a perfect curve, and there is no element of human behavior. So they are tracking the individual pixels and the way that your mouse moves. And if your mouse is moving in a way that is automated and electronic, and it doesn't look like the way a human would move a mouse, that's actually what's being detected by the CAPTCHA. It's not necessarily the fact that you clicked on the purple square. Do you understand that? It's basically like biometric metadata that they evaluate with like different thresholds in real time. That's the way it works. So this is the same thing. The only thing I'm showing this for is to give you other examples of algorithms like this functioning the same way. That's it. It's pretty simple.
That is, to me, it sounds like what YouTube introduced not long ago, where it monitors user usage behavior and will make an estimation of their age based on what they engage in on the platform. So for Discord, it seems like it's doing that too. And if it determines that you're an adult, you might not have to submit your facial scan or government ID. But again, I could be totally wrong. Now here's Discord.
Well, they're probably also going to use things like bank account. So like if you have a credit card attached to the account will probably also, or you've had a credit card transaction on the account will probably also automatically be an adult account. Like they'll use other frames of reference like that too.
Treating its users like dogs, trying to coat this pill in peanut butter to make it easier to swallow. We also offer other assurance methods through our collaboration with trusted, privacy-forward partners, such as...
That's another synonym. What they mean to say is Israel. This is going to go to Israel.
Facial age estimation and ID scan, all designed to minimize data use and maximize user control. There's no way of dressing that up in any way that is actually privacy-forward, by the way. We will continue exploring and validating additional age assurance approaches with the goal of expanding options and giving users choices.
Having age verification is a reduction in privacy. This is inevitable. Like, there are ways that you can minimize it being a bad impact, but it is a reduction in privacy, and it does open up an entire new vector of problems that could happen. Yeah, of course.
That works best for them. After completing a chosen method, users will receive confirmation via direct message from our official Discord account. A user's assigned age group can be viewed at any time in My Account settings. Users can also go to My Account settings to appeal by retrying the process. We currently only prompt users to age assure when they are in the Discord app and trying to access age-restricted content or update specific safety settings. We do not send emails or text messages about our age assurance process or results. So then they go into the key privacy protections. On-device processing. Video selfies for facial age estimation never leave a user's device. Quick deletion. Identity documents...
They all say that, by the way. Those ICE apps said the same thing, and then they got all the information anyway.
Submitted to our vendors are quickly deleted, in most cases, immediately after age confirmation. Not in every case, by the way, just most of them they're like immediately deleted, but usually it's like real quick. Like I'm talking lickety split. Straightforward verification. In most states, users complete the process once and their Discord experience adapts to their verified age group.
Yes.
Users may be asked to use multiple methods only when more information is needed to assign an age group.
Yeah. Show your Fortnite account. And your social security number.
A user's age verification status is only available to that user and cannot be seen by others. We're intentional about selecting and working with age assurance partners with strong privacy practices and limit data collection to what's strictly necessary for age assurance. There you have it. That's the big changes coming to Discord right around the corner. And don't let Discord deceive you into thinking that this is a change that they're making for a positive reason, like protecting kids that use Discord. That's not actually why they're making this big pivot here at all. It's just in this race that every company on the planet is engaged in to collect as much data as possible and get people as comfortable as possible.
I really think that there's a bigger component than I think Charlie isn't really covering the amount of like legislative expectations that are happening to these companies by expecting them to do more due diligence in order to protect minors on their platform. I think this is happening, like, think about, like, for example, with Roblox. It happened with Facebook. It happened with Snapchat. And so I think they're also being proactive for that, because I think that you look at the different changes they're making in the UK, et cetera, you can see that very clearly things are trying to move in that direction. And again, you have the unholy alliance between over-controlling Karens, a tyrannical, or at least wannabe tyrannical government that wants to control and monitor your speech on the internet for no other reason than to, create a citizen profile of you. And then on top of that, you have a relatively uneducated, uninformed public about this topic that has no interest in taking accountability for its own children. And between these three groups, what you're going to have is digital ID.
Possible with just giving their data willingly. So that way they can just harvest it easily, no hiccups.
Yes.
This is not a good change, and it is not something that anyone should be looking forward to.
No.
Do I think it's actually going to kill Discord?
No.
No. I don't think so. I know
Skype died not because of privacy, but because Skype died because it turned into garbage. And also Discord was a better service. Like, it was just straight up a better service, period.
A lot of people are saying that this is the end of Discord, and even me with the title RIP Discord, I don't actually think it's going to sink them. I think people are just going to shrug their shoulders and just fork over the data in order to keep using the platform that they've already become accustomed to. I don't believe people ever really have a huge willingness to switch off of things that they become used to. There's endless examples to pull from, even like in gaming. People have set games that are their comfort game.
I'm not gonna play if they put microtransactions. Well, it's just a battle pass. Well, you don't have to buy it. Well, I'm having fun. Again, these people, not wrong. Yeah, that's just how it is.
They maybe might tinker around with playing a new game in the same genre, but typically always go back to the one that they've just spent the most time with.
Yep.
And right now, that's Discord. So I don't think that this is going
cosmetic,
to be,
guys.
It's
not pay to win. It's pay to progress.
Destruction of Discord, even though I think it should be. I just don't think people are actually going to make a switch to something.
I think Charlie's right about this. I think the privacy concerns that people have on the internet are vastly overstated. I don't think that actually most people care about giving up their information. And the problem is that there's such a loud, vocal, super user minority on the internet that cares about it a lot that I think they don't realize. Think about how many people, when Facebook became a massive thing, just wrote out their address and phone number on Facebook. It was so fucking amazing that Mark Zuckerberg called them fucking retards. There's an email. He's saying these fucking morons are just giving me their phone number.
Else in its place because people are just too used to Discord's service at this point. But I guess we'll see. I could be entirely wrong. Skype, for example. Skype, by all definitions, was too big to fail. They were the top dog.
Microsoft solves that.
Until Discord came around and ate their lunch. Discord was a superior service to Skype, and Skype ate shit for it. It never adapted, it never changed.
And keep in mind that Skype killed Ventrilo in a lot of cases. A lot of people moved from Vent into Skype or TeamSpeak.
And it died. So who knows? Maybe I'm entirely wrong, and something will pop up now that Discord is in a really rough spot, lost their footing here. Maybe something else will come and take its place, and people will flock to that instead, so that way they don't have to play ball with these kind of new changes. We'll see. I'm just not super optimistic about that happening, but I'd love to be wrong about it. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.
Microsoft killed MSN for Skype. Yeah, I mean, I think they totally killed it. I mean, for sure. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's like everybody says, like, oh, I'll never use that. Parental incompetence is no excuse for mass surveillance. It's going to happen. Remember when the number one rule of the internet was never give out your personal information? I remember, bro, like they used to tell you don't even post photos of yourself on the internet because you never know what people are going to do with that, right? I'll link you guys the video. It's a Charlie video. I agree with what he's saying on this. I think that he's a little bit idealistic about it. And I do think that there's a lot of other like legislative factors that are going into play here, especially from countries that have, more robust speech laws. But overall, I do think the core of this is accurate. The difference between the internet and real ID is in real life, I just show the ID and I put it back. On the internet, I have to send it to a random third party, and a big problem with data leaks, I can sell it to a Chinese rootkit group. I think that you bring up a great point, is that in real life, when you show your ID, it actually does just disappear. But when on the internet, it doesn't really disappear because there's data breaches. I think that's a great point. I've never seen somebody say that before. That's a really good way of looking at it. And remember, Discord tried to add NFTs. They backed off when people canceled Nitro and started spamming media. I mean, NFTs are not the same as this. This is just not the same thing at all. No one gives them your faces. Remain anonymous. Don't let them privatize the internet. Again, like if you think that Google doesn't know who you are if you have a YouTube account, I think that you're very delusional. Like if the government or the FBI wants to figure out what you're doing, they're going to figure out what you're doing. That's just how it is. You never scanned your ID into a computer system to enter a club? I never have, because the last time I went to a club was like 2019. I have never done that.